Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be playing in the Tier 10 Italian auto-reloading medium tank, the Caro 45-ton, or otherwise known as the Carrot. I think that's a great name for this tank. Now, the Caro is an insane vehicle. It's always been a very solid tank for certain things, and very poor for others. For example, the gun on this vehicle is great when it comes to alpha damage, clipping potential, but it's also got really bad aiming time at 3.6 seconds, and the worst dispersion for a medium tank at 0.344. So it's got some upsides, and it's got some downsides. I really like the pen, though. That is definitely one of the biggest upsides. 326 on the APCR is almost heavy tank category levels of pen. In fact, it puts an IS-7 to shame. So because of that, the Caro is quite a solid vehicle. It's got pen, it's got alpha, it's got clipping potential, heck, it even features 4 shells. And in the latest update, 10.0, which was just dropped today, the Caro now loads all of its shells in the beginning of the battle. That has changed this tank from being quite a passive vehicle for the beginning part of the battle to now an absolute beast. And I'm going to be showing you just how much of a beast it is by going straight into battle. Yeah, honestly, all auto-reloaders, especially this one being able to load its shells, all in the beginning, has drastically changed the capabilities of this vehicle. From what previously was a tank that you would have to be very calm in the beginning, and I mean very calm. Any medium tank that knew you were reloading, or anybody that wanted to get some early game shots off on you, could very easily, because if you think about it, let's say I have 2 shells in my barrel, and I'm trying to load in more. If somebody pokes me and I have to shoot that shell, it means that I only have 1 shell left, and if I shoot that shell, I have to wait 20 seconds. After a certain point, that player can just instantly rush me, and sure, they might lose 800, 700, but that'll be the enemy. So it's a great example of where the Caro is now instantly able to be aggressive, where previously it would have to be very passive. Like in this map, Canal, I'd be staying very passive at the beginning of the game, but I don't need to. I can drive right up here, and if somebody crosses, I'm going to get a shell in. So up against us, we have a WZ-121, a Bosch Chatillon 25-ton, and also a 50B, so they got a decent chunk of mobility. I'm not seeing anything yet that we're going to have to worry about, though. I do have an E50 to help me. But, oh, the bat chat's over there. Very interesting. Well, let's see if we can get a shell in. Unfortunate. We can try one more, maybe? Doesn't look like he wants to cross it. Although that bat chat has already completely obliterated himself. So, weirdly enough, normally on a map like this, it would matter if you have your shells loaded in the beginning or not. But for this game, doesn't seem to matter all too much. Alright, well, they do have a 4005, which is obviously a tank I'm going to have to be quite careful about. But we can see the 50B camping in their spawn. We get 1 penetration into the 50B, 2 penetrations into the 50B, and let's see if we can get that 3rd one in. Oh yeah, 3 shells, 1200 damage. Now we back up, we simply chill and wait for our reload. Alright, well that's not too bad at all. You can see just where the Caro's gun feels amazing. I mean, the fact that this vehicle can just clip somebody with no problems whatsoever. Now we got the E6 over here. There's 1 shell very easily into the E6. Let's aim it again. 2 shells into the E6. 2 very easy slaps for up to 1800 damage at this point. That player is now dead, and we're still chilling here. You can see just how the Caro is insane. I mean, the gun is just so dang nice on the tank. We're going to aim it on the 57, and I'm not going to shoot him just yet. We're going to wait. I'm going to load a premium shell just to confirm the kill. There you go. Nice. We got the 4005 spotted up top. Bonk. There you go. Nice 413 slap. And at this point, we're going to drive in. I've got decent mobility on this tank. It's not the fastest vehicle, but they do have a pretty healthy E100. And the amount of time it takes me to get over there, I should at least be able to load 3 shells into the barrel. And I'm just going to try and dump them all. Let's see if we can get that last one loaded in as well. Here we go. Ooh, come on, 50B, rush me. Well, I don't really care, honestly, all too much. We're just going to get behind the C100 and miss the first shell. Well, that sucks. Let's try again. 1 shell into that E100, and 2 shells into that E100. And all that's left over here is the 50B, but I'm just going to dump my shell into this E100. There you go. Nice 407 slap. And with that, we should be over 3,000 damage. Yes, we are. 3,572. As you can see, the Caro is great. The fact that you can get these clips out, and you have to be smart with how you work the shells, but if you work them correctly, you're fine. I mean, that was a very solid game. First class. Actually, not even a first class, an ace. But doesn't really matter. Nobody has this tank. I would say in the NA server there are probably less than 100 people that own this vehicle, maybe somewhere around that number. And the amount of people actually playing the tank at any given week, probably less than 100. But that's because this tank was only released once, and it was $300. So yeah, it was a fairly expensive vehicle, and if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't even know this tank was released because it was the last vehicle in part of the Black Friday event. So, here we are. Second game. Up against us, we got an Object 140. Now, this is actually one of the best maps I could set an example of where the Caro would have struggled before. On a map like Yamato, previously, I would have stayed right in this bush where I'm aiming at. And the reason is because if you stay at that bush, you can wait, load your shells, and after a certain amount of time, then you can start playing aggressive. But because I have my shells right at the beginning of the battle now, I can just play aggressive at C. Anybody tries pushing aggressive there, I can get a big ol' 380 slap into them. Judging that all they have is an Object 140, I should very easily be able to outtrade that player. So here we go, we got the Object 140. There's a bounce. Interesting. Not gonna question it. The thing that I'm most worried about is the 183. They do have a 183, and at the end of the day, that is not a tank that I'm all too confident in fighting. So we're gonna be quite cautious here. The 140 is indeed running. Ooh boy, I don't like crossing this, but well, we can see the E4 spotted already. Okay, well, if that's the case, and we can see the majority of their team over there, then I'm going to cross this way. Let's see if we get spotted from this. Oh, there's the 140. Come on, go for it, 140. And one shell into his tank. Nice. And two shells. Look at that. 475 roll there. Two shots, we did 890 damage. Now we have the rear of the Yo. There's one shell into the rear of the Yo, and for now we're just going to wait. We've done 1,200 damage already, and this is obviously where your DPM isn't going to be amazing in the Caro. Actually, the more shells you load, the more DPM you have, but, well, I kind of wanted to HE that E4. It was definitely worth, and man, you can see just how tempting it is to dump my shells here into the enemy, but at the same time, it's really not worth it. We're going to wait for this 60 to cross and bounce him in the side. Very interesting. Not much I can obviously do about that. We're going to push in. At this point, I got plenty of time to reload my clip once again. We do have that 183 crossing, though, and oh, yes! I hate 183s. All of you know this already. Fighting 183s is a pain, especially for a tank like this that doesn't really feature all too much armor, so being able to clear one is fine with me. Alright, well, let's see. We got the Hori spotted, and that's the only player left with health, so that is exactly who I'm going to go for. We got that Hori right off to the side. We did get shot by probably the 60, but honestly, it doesn't really matter to me. There's one shell into that player, and now we can get one shell into the Hori, and two shells into the Hori. We damaged his Amarak, and he's dead. Well, can't really complain. Another pretty solid battle for the Caro. I would guess we did over 3,000 damage this game. We can find out. Let's take a look. Victory. Come on. Did we deal over 3,000? Yes, we did. 3252. As you can see, the Caro is a fantastic tank. It definitely has its fair share of downsides, but the fact that the gun has the alpha, the fact that it now has all the shells loaded in the beginning of the game, this tank just became absolutely busted. I would highly suggest to keep your eyes peeled for this tank when it comes into the store. Unfortunately, I cannot imagine it will come cheap, so keep that in mind. Either way, the tank is insane. It's one of my favorite tier 10s, and it's also one of my good performers, 74% win rate and 32-ish hundred damage. I mean, it's not the highest average, but very solid win rate, especially for a tank like this. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.